Shus, Rav Shlita, Winter, other Rabbonim, Rosh Kollel, Chavei Kollel, Rosh Hashiva, Yisrael, Kol Kodesh Hazeh. Just a few words to express my tremendous feeling of inspiration of coming here today and seeing, maybe totally unexpectedly, what's been done over here in this Kehillah in these last few years, and in space, especially in the last few weeks, by the Kollel coming here, what it means to bring a Kollel into a community, to bring Torah into a community b'chlal. We find that by the Chet HaEgel, Moshe Rabbeinu was in the Har, and the Rebbe tells Moshe Rabbeinu, "Va'ato hanicholi, vayicher api behem v'achalim." Please let go of me, leave me, and I will show my anger to Klal Yisrael, v'achalim. I will destroy Klal Yisrael. Vayicher api behem v'achalim. What does it mean, anicholi? What does it mean that Moshe Rabbeinu, as if the Rebbe Shalom needs the permission of Moshe Rabbeinu to do what he needs, to do what he wants to? At that point, he was angry at Klal Yisrael and he wanted to destroy Klal Yisrael. So the Gemara in Bracha says, Melamid, the Gemara in Bracha says that Ilmolei, Hakosav Oimroi, if not for the pasuk that says so, we wouldn't be able to say so on our own. But the pasuk says so, Melamid shetofsei Moshe l'Kadosh Baruch Hu, ka'odem shetoifes l'chaveirei bebigdoi, va'omaloi, eini manichecha shetimcho v'tislach lehem. Moshe Rabbeinu grabbed onto the Rebbeinu Shalom, like somebody that grabs onto his friend's beged, his friend's clothing, his friend's lapel, and he says, "I'm not letting go until you do my will." So too Moshe Rabbeinu grabbed onto the Rebbeinu Shalom's beged, as if to say, and he told the Rebbeinu Shalom, "I'm not letting go until you are Meichel Klal Yisrael, you forgive them for the Chet HaEgel." So the Vilna Gaon explains, what does this mean? What does it mean that Moshe Rabbeinu grabbed onto the Rebbeinu Shalom's clothing and said, "I'm not letting go of you"? So the Vilna Gaon explains that it means to say like this, that at that point the Rebbeinu Shalom said, "Hanichli, let go. Let me take back the luchas. Let me take back the luchas abris. And if I take back the luchas we all know is a bris, is a connection, is a confidence between the Rebbeinu Shalom and Klal Yisrael. It's a guarantee for the existence of Klal Yisrael, the fact that they have the luchas in their midst. Let me take back the luchas, and then I will be vayicher api behem v'achalim. I will be misnaig with the midah of charein af, and I will destroy Klal Yisrael." And Moshe Rabbeinu said, "I'm not going to let go of the luchas. I will break the luchas. I will throw them to the ground, but I'm not let you take it back. The luchas, even if it'll be shiver luchas, will stay with us. And then there's a bris, there's a covenant with Rebbeinu Shalom that he will not destroy Klal Yisrael." The meaning of it, of course, it means the luchas itself. But the luchas the deeper meaning doesn't mean the luchas itself. It means the Torah. So Rebbeinu Shalom says, "Let me take back the Torah. I gave Klal Yisrael the Torah. As long as they are holding on to the Torah, they are learning the Torah, they are connected with me, I am connected with them, and I'm bound to them. I have a bris with them, and it cannot be veicher api behem v'achalim. Their existence is guaranteed. There's no way that I could destroy Chas v'Sholem Klal Yisrael. So Rebbeinu Shalom says, let me take back the Torah. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, we're holding on to the Torah dearly. And we're not letting go. And as long as the Torah is with us, then we're guaranteed. We have the bris of the Rebbeinu Shalom. There won't be va'achalim. The Rebbeinu Shalom will not destroy Klal Yisrael. The Rebbeinu Shalom will never destroy Klal Yisrael. That's the bris of the luchis that the Rebbeinu Shalom made with Klal Yisrael, that as long as the Torah is within Klal Yisrael will exist. We find, the Gemara tells us, ilmole nishtabru aluchis. If the luchis would have never been broken, in other words, Klal Yisrael would have not sinned with the Chet HaEgel, ein kol ume v'loshen sheletes behem. No nation would be able to rule over Klal Yisrael, to touch Klal Yisrael at all, to have any power over Klal Yisrael at all. If Klal Yisrael would have had the Torah b'shleimus, no nation would have been able to touch Klal Yisrael, to do any harm to Klal Yisrael at all. But since we don't have such a hold on the Torah, there was a shviras haluchas, so the nations could hurt us, could harm us. They could do things to us. But as long as we still have the Torah, the nations can't destroy us. Va'achalim can't be anymore. That's one of the things that the Gemara says, ilmole nishtabru aluchis, if not the aluchis were broken. Another ideal the Gemara says, that ilmole nishtabru aluchis, we would learn Torah. Whatever we would learn would never be forgotten. We'd have a tremendous grasp in Torah. We would have all of the Torah without any special effort of omol, of having to toil in it. It would come to us naturally. We would be so connected with the Torah that the Torah would be with us to the greatest extent, without anything missing. But now that the luchos were broken, therefore we don't have the amount of Torah, we don't have that grasp of Torah that we had when the luchos were existing, when the luchos were whole. But Afal Pekain, even so, the Vilna Gaon says in Shir Hashirim, on the pasuk Hanitzonim Niru Ba'aretz, the Vilna Gaon says, but the fact that we still have the luchos within us, even though they are broken, or the luchos shniyas, even though there was a churban abayis, and there were nignas b'mkaimai, they are somewhere existent in the world, we have a grasp on the Torah. We have a connection to the Torah. And if not for the fact that we would have the luchos, we would have that connection of the luchos with Klal Yisrael, we wouldn't have any grasp on the Torah. We wouldn't have any connection to the Torah. The luchos, physically, the fact that we have the luchos, gives us our connection to the Torah. And the fact that we have the connection to the Torah, first of all, gives us a bigger extent understanding of Torah, and gives us our existence. Our existence is dependent on the fact on how much Torah we have in our midst. On the fact that we have the Torah, that is what gives us our existence. And that's what gives us our atzlochis, our success in everything we do. That's what brings the Rebbeinu Shalom within our midst. The fact that we learn Torah, we have the Torah in our midst, connects us. That's the bris that we have with the Rebbeinu Shalom, brings the Rebbeinu Shalom into our midst. And that is the source of any success that we have. The fact that the Torah is in our midst. The Gemara says, Hey Chidami Apikoros. Who is an Apikoros? Who is an heretic? Who's an Apikoros? The, 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 Ma'ahani lo Rabbonon. Lidudu karu, lidudu shanu. What do we have from the fact that Talmidei Chacham is sitting and learning? What does that do for us? They're learning for themselves. They're sitting in Lakewood, in Yerushalayim, in Bnei Brak, wherever it is. They're sitting and learning. What do we have from it? Being distant from where they are. Or what do we have from it? From the fact that Talmidei Chachamim sitting and learning within our midst. The Gemara says that that's an apikoros. The Gemara says that's even worse than apikoros. The Gemara says that's called Megal Ponim B'Torah Shloika Halacha. That's not understanding anything of the Torah. The pasuk says, "V'nasasi l'chol hamokim ba'avuram." The fact that there are tzaddikim and Talmidei Chachamim learning in a place, I carry the whole place, the whole world, because of them. Our existence is because of them. Our madregas, our success, our being uplifted is because they are learning. Even if they're not learning with us, they're learning. The fact that there's Torah existent within us, that uplifts all of us. That gives us a tremendous uplifting. That gives us a tremendous connection with the Rebbeinu Shalom. And versteht sich, understandably, that gives us the bracha, the connection of having the Rebbeinu Shalom within our midst, whatever that brings along with it. That's the ideal of having the luchas within us, having Talmidei Chachamim sitting and learning in our midst. The fact, the kiyum, the existence of Klal Yisrael between the nations, the back of Emden right in a place, is a bigger ness, a bigger miracle than the miracle of Yetzias Mitzrayim. The fact that we exist in a world when all the generations, when probably most of the world was out there to destroy us, Vayichar api behem v'achalim. The fact that we do exist is only because we have the Torah, we have Talmidei Chachamim, we have Yidden sitting and learning. Our existence in Eretz Yisrael, we have, Baruch Hashem, a yishuv in Eretz Yisrael, we have a yishuv in America. There's so many influences in America and so many influences in Eretz Yisrael. There's so many physical dangers. We're surrounded by hundreds of millions of Arabs that have only one thing in their mind: how to destroy V'achalim, how to destroy Klal Yisrael. And what is the answer to that existence? What is the answer? What is the ness? There's no derech hateva, there's no natural answer to it. As good as good of weapons that we can have, it's not the answer. It's not enough to understand. How is it that they don't destroy us? How is it that they can send thousands of missiles into Eretz Yisrael and always miss? That's not because we have good weapons. It's because we have the Torah, because we're having a light sitting and learning. That our existence is dependent on the fact that there is Torah in our midst, that there are Talmidei Chachamim, that they are the security of Eretz Yisrael. They are the security of our communities in America. They are the security, the ruchnistic security, the spiritual security. The fact that we don't get lost in the spiritual wasteland of America and the influences of America that's in the whole world. America symbolizing materialism and other ideals. How is it that we don't get lost? It's only because we have Talmidei Chachamim. We have people sitting and learning in our midst. But that's what keeps us going. That's generally, in the whole world, the fact that our Talmidei Chachamim is sitting and learning. And of course, it influences us that we learn because of it, that we get uplifted directly because we are influenced by them. That also influences our existence by the fact that they are there, even if we don't connect with them directly. And so is it in every community. The fact that the Talmidei Chachamim sitting and learning, uplifting the community. The whole community becomes uplifted by the fact that they're here, that the fact that they're sitting and learning, the fact that brings the Rebbeinu Shalom into our midst. And of course, every bit of success, physically or spiritually, is totally dependent on the fact that the Rebbeinu Shalom is in our midst. Kal v'chomer ben Menashe, kal v'chomer, that they're sitting, they're learning with us, they're there for us, they're there to spend time with us, to influence us by their being, by seeing the hanhaga, seeing the way they act, seeing what a Ben Torah is, how that in itself influences the whole life of the community. So Asheichem, that you were Zoicha to bring such a elevated group of Talmidei Chachamim that are sitting and learning, and they're ready to share their Torah with everyone in the community. And of course, this is not brought in a vacuum. This is because the Kehillas St. Louis has a tremendous background, has a background of Torah, has Rabbanim, has a Rav like Winter Shlita, which understands, which is not afraid to bring in a yeshiva into his Beis Medrash. We know what young Bachram could do to a building, and young Bachram and how they can coexist with Balabatim. It's probably a dove and nodeh. It's probably non-existent in many places that a shul should bring in a yeshiva. It's very unusual. And now to bring in a kollel, Baruch Hashem, to uplift the community. And the background of St. Louis Bechlal, the Zayda started here yeshiva in Tafshich Chaf Aleph in 61, sending Hagoyin and Shmuel Feivelson, Shlitish Havrefu Shleima here, and later Rav Kleiman Zatzal, the Kollel in University City of Grumblat, and all the Torah that was here before. It's all a forerunner for this Kollel. It's all part of the Nasasi L'chol HaMakom Bavuram. Of course, that starts with the great Gvalker Rabbanim that they always had over here in St. Louis, the father of the Yeshiva Rav Eichenstein Shlita. This was the background of Torah that was here, that caused the Nasasi L'chol HaMakom Bavuram, that this place, this community was uplifted through them and is continuing to be uplifted through the fact through the creation of the Kollel in Chesterfield, of course, together with the other Kollel, together with the yeshiva, together with all the Moshes HaTorah Chinuch. The Hashem should help that the Torah should continue to flourish in St. Louis and Chesterfield, and we should bring tremendous hatzlacha, tremendous aliyah, tremendous v'nasasi l'chol hamakom ba'avuram to the whole community. And we should be zoichet at a time when this V'alike Makom Torah will be mitzurif with all the Mekaymes HaTorah to go back to Bias Goyal, to Shalayim HaKodesh, to Eretz Yisrael. Be zoichet to the times of Bias Mashiach, will be a time of Molos Deis Hashem Kamayim Niyam Mechasim, B'meher V'yameinu Amen.